I see your future. You're going to watch my chess video. Yes! Welcome to chess, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your future. Anyways, man, I went ahead and went back and grabbed a title Tuesday between Koustav Chatterjee and Wesley So. So Chatterjee is one of the latest, I think it was like 76th Grandmaster of India. So, yes, title Tuesday coming at you. All of my people coming from the Philippines, I will say, Merming Salamat. Anybody who is coming from West Bengal, I will say, Danabad. And if you guys are ready to go, homie, let's take a look see what we got for this game, son. So we got knight to f3, the reti, but as you guys know, it almost always transposes into something else. And we do have an invitation at the beginning of the game. c5. Wesley So is like, bro, let's play the Sicilian so I can go into the Najdorf. If we did see e4, we would be seeing a transposition immediately into the Sicilian defense. But we do not see that. Chatterjee is like, bro, I'm not doing none of that, dog. I'm playing my own game. So he says denied. Access denied, man. So we do see the move c4, and we are getting more into an Indian, or not an Indian, I'm sorry, English. An English system. We do see knight going to c6. We got knight to c3. We got g6, g3, bishop to g7, and then bishop to g2. And we have, after d6 and castles arrived, it has settled into the English symmetrical variation. As you guys can probably tell, I mean, we pretty much have almost the same stuff on either side. You know, we would just probably need like a d3 and then a knight to f6. And we pretty much have an identical situation with black being half a step behind. We do see rook going to b8. And this is what I will say about rook to b8. Wesley So is definitely, on the level that he is. And he's saying, hey, man, even though you are a grandmaster yourself, I'm trying to throw you off. So he's kind of pulling like a Magnus Carlsen right now. He is going way down in the pack of moves. And rook to b8 is very, very low on the moves list. So we are kind of getting off the beaten path. We do see the move a3, and then we do see the move e6. And we actually only have 2 games in the database with this exact position. So Wesley So has pretty much accomplished what he wanted to accomplish, kind of getting Chatterjee out of, what he might be familiar with or what's out there. And we're trying to just play straight chess. We got rook going to b1. We do see knight g to e7. We got the move d3. And I mean, some of you guys might be looking like, wait a minute. But what about like if bishop takes c3, like, is that not a problem? Like, you're going to double your pawns? Well, this is what you have to understand about the position. When you do fianchetto a piece in front of your king that you're about to be castled in front of, or you already castled in front of, if you give up that specific bishop, that color complex around your king becomes very weak. So if you give up this dark square bishop, after you see a castles, all these squares are very, very, very weak around your king. Same thing with these light squares around this white king. So you generally want to kind of hold on to that bishop in front. Also, too, if you do capture here, you would be taking back here, and you have a lot of pawns in the center of the board. So you're not really getting, what you want in return for that, giving up the bishop and giving white, those, pawns in the center of the board. So that is why we are not seeing that. We do see castles by black. We got bishop going to d2. We got b6. We see the move b4, just trying to gain a little bit of space on that queen side. We do see bishop to b7. We got h4, and it might seem a little bit strange. You're like, why am I just throwing h4 out? Well, h4, you definitely do have to be careful around your king when you're pushing pawns. But there's a definite, very real threat that does come with the move h4. We are hoping at some point we can go h5 and we can kind of hook black and cause a little bit of openness around their king. And we can just get things a little bit more open. Maybe we can possibly step the king up and maybe use an open h-file, those types of ideas. So in light of that, we do see the move h6, and we are just preparing to meet the move h5 with g5, just closing everything down, and we're going to be good to go. If you did not play h6, you absolutely cannot play g5, of course, because that square is too heavily covered. We do see the move e4, and this is actually the novelty of the game, but it actually has a whole lot of logic behind it. Black is definitely, like, both sides are doing very well by this point. But one thing that black lacks just a little bit of compared to white is space. So what he is wanting to try to do is make some type of pawn break or just kind of get the position to where he can get some more space. So d5 definitely comes to mind. Knight going to f5 comes to mind. So white with e4, they're gaining some central space and they're trying to clamp down as much as they can on these types of freeing moves that black has in mind. So we do see the move queen to d7 and queen goes to e2. And like I said, both players have pretty much kind of done what they needed to do. You know, they have their rooks connected on both sides. You know, white definitely has a lot more space. So black is going to be working to try to, you know, gain some space of their own. We do see the move f5 and Wesley's like, bro, I'm going to be a gangster because I feel like it, homie. Like I just got done saying, you know, black is definitely trying to gain some space of their own. So if we can get some favorable trades on this square, maybe we could plop a knight down in there. And if you have knights on these two squares, knight to d4 can become a little bit weak. So you got to be paying attention to that. Rook goes f to e1. We see rook b to e8. We got pawn taking c5, pawn taking c5. And then we do see rook b to d1. And like I said, I mean, the game has been very accurate by both sides up to this point. So, I mean, neither side has really claimed, you know, like a huge advantage at any point. We do see rook going back over to d8 or, you know, shifting back to a d8. We do see pawn taking f5, pawn taking f5. And then we do see the move bishop to f1. And, you know, the crazy insane thing, you guys saw the bar. It is super, super confusing as to why bishop to f1 is considered by the computer to be a blunder. Because you're looking like, I mean, as a human, look at this position. So you're looking at this position, you're like, okay, my d3 pawn is a little bit suspect, right? But, I mean, you really don't want to move your bishop anywhere because, I mean, you're going to be just hanging this knight right here, right? So, I mean, you don't really have any ability to, like, open the rook up. So, like, the only super logical thing for you to think of is probably to go bishop to f1 and just double protect this pawn. The computer completely hates it. The computer's like, hey, man, this is the top move. Tell me what human being is going to play knight to b5 in this position. I mean, bro, like, bro, hello, does Stockfish not realize that I have a pawn that's hanging right here? Like, what are we doing with knight to b5? Like, what is that supposed to be threatening? Absolutely nothing. The computer is like, bro, you need to just give this d3 pawn away. It's a liability to you. But, I mean, humans don't generally play that way. They're going to play like this, bishop to f1, right? Well, like I said, the crazy thing is bishop to f1 does blunder the position, like, almost completely. So, but black does have to find the exact move that blunders the game, like that you literally win the game pretty much if you make this move. If you want to pause the video and try to see what move black needs to play in this position, go ahead and do so. Okay. It's a move that's actually kind of in the position like later on in the game, and we actually do see it. We actually do not see Wesley So play that move in this position right here. He plays, you know, somewhat of a more human move in the situation, but this was absolutely explosive. So to show you the move that he actually played in the game, he played rook f to e8. I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense. You're like, hey, man, I'm putting this rook opposite the queen. I mean, I have some ability to kind of move the knight where I want to with some discoveries. I mean, so, you know, you have a game where both players are playing very human, like logically human moves, right? Well, the crazy thing is, because white has this type of a structure in front of the king, you actually have a way to start kind of chipping away at it and making the position for black be that much better. So in this position, if you actually found the move f4, then you would be absolutely correct. You're like, you know, Garry Kasparov or something like that, you know, Eugene Torrey. And I mean, you're understanding, like I said, that this structure is not very favorable in front of the king. And you actually have quite a bit of holes in here. And you would probably see best possible play would be knight to e4. You have two issues if you're in this position. You have this rook about to open up on this knight and the possibility of this bishop opening up on this knight. And you have the possibility of a maybe to knight to d4. So you really kind of want to plug that diagonal up in this position. You would see pawn taking and then knight going down to f5. And then, like I said, if you can get this scenario going, I mean, you have a lot of pressure still on this pawn. You have a lot of pressure here. You have a knight absolutely coming into d4, and that's attacking your knight and your queen. So you can see that white is in a completely defensive position here, and that's absolutely not where you want to be. So if you found the move F4, I mean, congratulations to you, man. You're doing something. But like I said, Rook F did come to E8. Very logical stuff. We do see the queens coming off the board, and this is a situation, where, white has definitely relieved a lot of the pressure that was on them in this position, and they still got D3 held. King goes to F7, and then we do see Rook D to E1. Double rooks! Yes, I got you. No, you didn't. Okay, whatever, bro. Bishop to C8. I thought I had something rolling right here, but I really didn't. But it's not that bad. I mean, you just go back Rook to D3, and you are now double holding this D3 pawn. We do see Knight going to D4 because that was literally forever strong. We do see Rook going over to D1, getting out of the forkable area with Knight taking on F3. We do see the move Rook to D1. Like I said, we do see F4 because, like I said earlier, this was always kind of lurking in the position. It's not as explosive in this position as it was before, but it is still a very, very great move. Understanding, like I said, that this structure is not very favorable in front of white's king. We do see Rook taking E7. It was actually one of the best moves in the position. Like, you're like, hey, man, like, just go ahead and take this knight and just kind of, like, cut your losses. And we do see Rook taking E7. We got Knight taking D4. Bishop taking D4. We got Pawn taking F4. So it might kind of seem like, hey, man, like, I'm getting a little something in this situation, right? Absolutely not. Bishop goes to G4. Like, why you being mean, bro? Like, come on, man. Like, consider my feelings. This Rook is not really safe on this D1 square now. So we do see Rook to C1, Bishop takes, and then we do see Bishop to E2. And under zero circumstances, absolutely zero, do we trade here. It's even so important that you do not trade that you give this D3 pawn away. So you see that white's biggest problem the entire game has been this B3 pawn. It's like, bro, like, I thought you were on my team. Why? I don't understand. So we do see Bishop to G2. We got Rook taking D3. Like I said, I mean, you kind of had to give the pawn up. It kind of sucks, but I mean, it is what it is. We do see Bishop going to D5 with check, King going back to F8. So it does kind of look like that we're like, hey, man, we're trapping the Rook a little bit, right? Like, I mean, we got the Rook kind of like locked up here. Doesn't really have a whole lot of squares. It can't retreat back, but it is not to be. Bishop goes to F6. We do see Rook to D7. We got Rook over to E1. And we're like, hey, man, I'm attacking your bishop, homie. Like, I'm going to get some entrances in here. And then we see Rook to D1. No. But that's not the plan I was going for, bro. You're supposed to be on my team. You're supposed to be helping me. Wesley's like, bro, we're not cool, bro. Like, we're playing a game. So anyway, we do see Rook to D1. And this is absolutely forcing a trade of rooks. We do see Rook taking D1, Bishop taking D1. We got Bishop up to E6. I'm going to get this Rook. No, you're not. Rook to D6. And it is in this position that Chatterjee resigns the game. And I've shown you this exact situation before when you had those two knights in the other game. It was probably like 5 or 6 videos ago. You remember that there was 2 rooks like right here and the rooks plopped down. And I mean, when you have 2 of your pieces lined up next to each other, a rook is very, very effective at literally winning one of those pieces. You cannot be putting your bishops right next to each other, literally anywhere. What are you going to do? You're going to be losing one of these bishops. So you need to choose which bishop is your favorite bishop and which bishop do you want to get rid of. And you're already down in exchange. Nope. I think all you guys can see that. This is just too overwhelming of a position for black, even though you do have an extra pawn. You're not going to be succeeding. These are very big liabilities in your position. And all these other pawns are completely, unsupported by another pawn. So they're going to be dropping like flies. So I appreciate everybody very much for stopping by. Maraming salamat na king makaibigan. Posta na nunod inga king ma video. Mabuting pagbati. Ingat lagi to everybody. And anybody who is coming from West or from East India, I would say Dhanabad or Dhanyavad, Nandri Nandi. I appreciate everybody very much for stopping by, and I'm going to see you guys next time.